right, guys, welcome back to the fourth KMK podcast. Today we have special guest Dieter Eiselen. I'm your host, Chris, followed by Kevin. Welcome, Dieter. Why don't we talk a little bit about yourself, introduce who you are.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you guys, and appreciate you guys always having me over here when I'm training back in Connecticut. So I'm Dieter. Originally born and raised in South Africa. Just finished my third year with the Bears. So Garden Center, offensive line.
Let's go.
So we have our gym works with a lot of high school and college athletes. So, I really want to kind of pick your mind about how was the recruiting process for you? Being in Connecticut, obviously being born and raised in South Africa, coming to the States. How was the recruiting process different for you? And what kind of advice could you give to kids in your position now?
Yeah, so my recruiting process was a little bit different and more unorthodox than it is for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I was born and raised in South Africa, and I grew up there with my family. Like, I didn't know anything about football growing up, like back home, it's all about rugby and cricket and stuff like that. So, but I started watching football when I was 16. A buddy from high school and I would watch games, and we got really into it, and we would watch the games because of the time difference. We'd watch it like 2 or 3 in the morning, and sometimes like the service provider that we had, it would only broadcast like the big game, so like it would only broadcast like the AFC Championship and not the NFC Championship, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But when I got close to graduating high school back home, I didn't really want to go to college back home. Nothing really there excited me all that much. Because back home you have to like apply to majors to get into college, so you don't just
they do it differently.
So it's based off of like British university system, and there's just nothing that really I wanted to like fully dive into. So so I started watching when I was 16, and then my love for American football grew more and more. And then when I was getting close to graduating high school at 18 in South Africa, I was like, I want to pursue American football. I'm not
That's
really
crazy.
sure.
At 18, that you decided like I'm gonna go for this, and then where you are now.
So I really had no idea about anything, how to do it. But I first came over to the U.S. when I was 18. So the South African school year starts in January and ends in December, and we have like breaks in between, so it's split up into quarters. And in my summer break, because the seasons are flipped in June, when I was 18, I came over to the U.S. for the first time and went to a camp in Richmond, Virginia, just a camp that you can pay to go to. It was like a Ryan Kerrigan football camp, and it had like what is the Commanders now, like some of their players.
Gotcha. Wow.
And that was my first time putting on a helmet, pads.
How'd you do?
I did fine, but I literally had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was a big kid, and there were some coaches from the area, from like Towson and stuff like that. And I remember like one of the line coaches was from Towson. He's like, "Do you know what the A and B gaps are?" And I was like, "No, clue."
That's crazy.
But I did well enough at the camp, not even knowing much, but I got a few walk-on offers from schools like Towson and other places in the area.
Never played football, automatic offer. That's crazy.
But I knew that just getting those walk-on offers, that I could do a lot better if I knew what I actually was doing, and if I could actually learn the game and play. So I finished that camp and was really motivated to come back home and find some way to get recruited without using eligibility. So I didn't want to go to like a junior college and play and use up eligibility and not go to a good school and all that. What I mean?
Is that where you got introduced to Chope?
Yes. So back home, I did a lot of research and stumbled upon this option to do a postgraduate year at all these prep schools in New England, and I literally emailed like 50.
So you were doing your own recruiting. You were just kind of
I was doing my own recruiting. So I literally sent out an email that was like a few paragraphs long with my measurements and all that, kind of like combine style.
So did you tell them like your lifting stats and all that stuff?
Yeah, like a whole email, and I actually did like kind of like a spoof it's funny to look back on it now, but like I did kind of like a spoof combine, and I had one of my same buddy from high school helped me film it. You know, it was like like
that's a good story. That's crazy.
And a 40 and stuff like that. But yeah, I sent it to like 50 prep school coaches, and a good amount of them responded, and I just wanted to go to the best program. And I was fortunate enough to get introduced to Coach Spinato at Cho. And
yeah, because we work with a lot of Cho kids here. So
and I mean, he was super willing to listen to me. Like him and I would Skype so many times, and both of us were just like figuring out how to like do it. You know what I mean? But I applied and got on a Cho, and that's what originally started my journey here. So I graduated high school back in South Africa in 2014, and then came over to Cho in 2015. But like I said earlier, the South African school year ends in December, so I graduated December 2014, and then Coach Spinato helped me get set up with a host family in Connecticut so that I could come over early, because I didn't want to wait until the following fall in 2015 to start learning and start getting better and showing and all that. So he set me up with a great family, a family that I have a great relationship to this day, the Piscatelli family. And I came over in April and stayed with them. They had two sons that both went to Cho and played football. And they were super kind to me, like took me in, like fed me, and I would go into Cho every day and work out and learn from Spinato and from the strength staff there, and just prepare myself for the upcoming season.
Right.
So, and how my recruiting kind of started. Spinato sent me to a few camps during that summer. So in April I came over, and then that summer in June, July, whatever it was, he sent me to a few camps. And the first camp that he sent me to was the Boston College camp, which was pretty rude awakening camps for me.
Did you do the day camp or the open
I
day?
did the 3-day.
Yeah, I did that one as well.
Yeah, it's not a fun camp. I'll say. So it's 3 days, 3 days in a row. And it's
so like
nuts.
9 total sessions.
Yeah, and I'd never done anything like that before, but it was really tiring and great. But I really enjoyed it. But there's like a million kids, you know, from everywhere. It's overwhelming, but it was fun, you know, because I didn't know anything about anything. So it was cool to learn from the coaches that were there, like learn about good technique and fundamentals and stuff like that.
And I liked it a lot because it kind of taught you like the day in the life of a college athlete. You know, like you're living in the dorms. You know, you wake up, you go to breakfast, then you go straight to practice. Then you meet with the positional coach and you position other quarterbacks or whatever your position is. It was a good time.
Yeah. So I really tested my mental fortitude, you know, how much did I really want to play football. It was hard physically to do that, you know, and get 3 practices a day for 3 days in a row. So I think that, if I remember correctly, that camp ended on Friday. And then I was exhausted, got picked up by Spinato, and he dropped me off back at the Piscatellis, and then Saturday morning I woke up to a text from him saying that you're going to the Yale camp Sunday.
Nice.
And I was just like, my first thought was like, I'm beat.
No way.
Don't they have like one next weekend or whatever?
Yeah.
But I went that day. I didn't really want to go. I felt not great. But I don't know if it was a combination of me being pissed off that he was making me be there, but like I was
take out your anger and just
but like it was, I tested well, and then we had full on one-on-ones, you know, against kids. And I was just being super aggressive. I was doing well. But Coach Reno is still the head coach at Yale. We're like busy doing one-on-ones, and he's motions for me to come over, and I'm like, they're like give me some advice, you know, and hopefully once I have some film up at Choate, then maybe they'll be willing to get off of me. But he called me over during one-on-ones, and he's like, I'd like to offer you
right on the spot.
Wow,
That's damn.
And
that's awesome.
that's
crazy.
I couldn't believe it, you know, like I was just like, I haven't played yet.
Yeah, I haven't even played football really yet.
I haven't played, but
And was that your first like big time offer?
first big time offer.
Awesome.
Did you fall in love with Yale as soon as you went there? Did you like being in New Haven and kind of like that whole atmosphere?
Yeah. I mean, just the mere fact that they're willing to recruit me such a prestigious university academically, it was like,
Incredible.
coming from South Africa, like it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So it was kind of funny when I called Spinato, and I was like, they offered me, and he's like, he must be confused.
He must be confused how this works.
He's got to be like, there's got to be some
That's
mistake.
crazy.
But once he realized that it was real, like him and I were just like laughing. He picked me up and it's like we just like rob a bank or something. So
Yeah,
it was fun.
That's crazy.
But it's a vivid memory for me. But yeah, I just committed a week later because I honestly didn't want to go.
You didn't want to do any of the camps or anything like that?
No. Well, I didn't really want to go anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like I committed before I even started at Cho.
Wow.
And like I had aspirations of playing at places like Stanford or whatever. I wanted to go to an academically prestigious university.
You don't get much better than Yale.
Yeah. So, but I want to go there. And after talking to like Spinato and the Scali family and everyone there just wasn't going to be a better opportunity for me to get an opportunity to play. I don't want to go to like a big time, super like big FBS Power 5 program and not have the opportunity to play. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of my current story.
When you were at Yale, kind of like walk us through, because it's a lot different, when you're an Ivy League athlete as opposed to, starting and playing football at another school. So like, how was like the day-to-days, the workload? I mean, I remember when I was at Yale, I was, asking you guys like, and you guys were like crazy studying books, and then you had to do lift and then practice 6 a.m. and like, what's like the day in the life of an Ivy League athlete?
Yeah, I mean, it's super challenging. You have to be very, very rigid with your time. Like the way that I conquered it was just using my time in a very structured schedule every single day, every day of the week. I knew what I had to get done based on what semester we're in, based on what my classes are, whatever, you know what I mean? But in season was quite hard. It would depend on what day. We had Tuesdays and Wednesdays were our hard padded practices. But, wake up, we would have team breakfast every morning at a specific dining hall, so we had to like go to breakfast and get checked in there, and then you start your day of classes, which vary a lot depending on whether it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday class. And you'd finish your classes and get lunch, typically be done by 1 o'clock or whatever it was, and then we'd have meetings in the afternoon, practice meet for an hour, practice for 2 hours, whatever it was, and then get ready because at some classes at Yale that are larger classes, you have sections for classes if they're big like lecture classes. So it's practice and then back getting prepared to do the section. So it's kind of like you can't have to it's kind of like Clark Kent thing. Just like focus in class, and then football, put it back on, and then for me really after I was done with my section of practice, depending on what the day was, really utilizing my time at night to get whatever I needed to get done. You know what I mean? So whether that was a problem set or an essay or whatever it was.
Yeah, so, time management is definitely
just
great key aspects to that.
Great time management.
So, and I get to bed every day. Like I would have a very rigid schedule. Like get to bed at this time every single night. Whether it was 10 o'clock or whatever it was. But I'd have like an hour of free time every night. But I knew every single day when I woke up what I had to do.
Right.
And then was there a switch in the 4 years, or maybe when you were junior, senior, where you're like, all right, I could actually play on an NFL team? Was there an aspiration there? Or was there like a plan, or would it just kind of like happen out of?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Right.
I was just like, wow, I got to get recruited to play at Yale.
Right. Not dealing with what's in front of you.
Yeah, I was just trying to do my best and play as much as I can. I ended up starting from the third game as a freshman, and then I started for the rest of my career there.
That's awesome.
Which I wasn't really expecting. I was very green still, but I got better as each year got went on. And then after my junior year, some people were telling me that I had the potential to play. You know what I mean? And agencies were contacting me, which I didn't really expect at all. You know what I mean?
Would you play? You played guard?
I played left guard for 4
Awesome.
years.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just really wasn't expecting contact by agencies, and I was like, wow, like it must be real. You know, people are interested in talking to me. You know what I mean? There must be some potential. So that's kind of where the seed was planted in my head. Like I had the potential to make it. You know what I mean? So,
And then, so after you were a senior, I just want all the athletes listening, kind of like, what was your preparation after you said, okay, now I'm going for it? What was like the day-to-day, preparing for the NFL Combine? Because you knew you had to hit certain numbers, and I know you love like learning about like exercise science and the training behind it and everything. So kind of walk us through, what was your strategy, I guess?
Yeah. So for me, after I finished my senior year, I was going to get ready to train for my pro day, and I was training at Test Football Academy, which is in Jersey, and my agent was paying for it for me to train there, and then go stay at a hotel that was close by. So how my week was structured that spring, because I was double majoring in economics and political science, so I still had classes.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
So I still had classes, class requirements to fulfill. So my week that spring was structured that I would be on Yale's campus from Monday through Wednesday, do my classes, whatever, and then I would get in a car Thursday morning super early, and then I'd be at tests from Thursday through Saturday. So that's kind of how I structured my week during that time. And, it was great to train at tests, like they were great with like nutrition and everything, like combine training is very specific, like just in terms of like the 225 or something like that, the more reps you get at doing it, the better you're going to get at it. You know what I mean? Like your times are going to improve just based on reps and getting that muscle memory in terms of, you know what I mean? Like when I first walked in the door, like I was able to hit 19 on 225, and then by the time I was finished, it was 28, just because my muscle endurance got better. You know what I mean? The more reps you get at it, more times you push yourself to failure, you're obviously just going to get better. The training we did there was great. It was split up into specific drills throughout the week, so we do either work on the yellow drill, or work on the 5-10-5, or work on the 40. So it would be split up into that and work on various components for that. So it'd be like either change of direction on the first leg of the 5-10-5, or working on your start on the first 10 yards of your 40, or just going through the technique of the yellow drill and like where to place your hands and things like that. So there were a good amount of other guys from other schools who were training there, so it was a good competitive environment, you know what I mean? So,
and it really comes down to just those little details, that could take that time just by a split second.
So I mean, those times are really important in training for football and training for combine style drills.
Kind of different.
Two very different things, you know what I mean? Like, I'll never do any of those drills or any of those exercises ever again, because it doesn't serve me in any way, you know what I mean? It's only because that's what is required for the testing for the teams. But yeah, it was a little bit challenging. It was a challenging year for me to come into the league because I was busy doing that, and then COVID hit, so tests got shut down, everything got shut down, and pro days got canceled, like everything got canceled, you know what I mean? So I was staying again with the Piscatelli family, who I originally lived with at Chelsea, and was literally working out of their basement gym because there was nowhere else to do anything, you know what I mean? So my pro day that I was supposed to have got canceled like I mentioned before, and I literally filmed like a pseudo like pro day, you know what I mean? Just because I had no other option, you know what I mean? For me.
But that's how you got into Yale, so I mean, that maybe works well for you. So
it was kind of like, I didn't really think about that before, but it's just kind of like the same thing from when I originally came. But yeah, it was tough for me to not have that opportunity to showcase my abilities, because when you have your pro day, all the scouts from all the teams are there and they get to see you in person and all that. I had an opportunity to play in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, and Los Angeles, which was nice. So at least the scouts got to see me there in person. But like not having the opportunity to showcase my athleticism within the drills was hard. So yeah, but it was a hard off season, but it ended up working. So I signed with the Bears as an undrafted free agent in 2020, and I've just finished my third year with them.
Awesome. And now how, like, obviously you're very regimented in what you do, so like you could just give us kind of like a day in the life of being a professional athlete. Are the workouts provided to you by the Bears, or does everyone do their own thing? Like what's kind of the day to day of being a pro?
Yeah, I mean, so it depends what time of the year you're in. Once we're doing like off-season workouts and OTAs, it's very different from when we're in training camp. Very different from when we're in season. But in season, like it's again very regimented, kind of like with college. I have a lot more free time. Luckily, I don't have to study. But in bed by 9:30, super early, like wake up at 6:15 or whatever, depending on what the day is. I like to get there early just to prepare my mind for whatever we're installing that day. You know what I mean? Like every day is broken up into different parts of your install. So typically in an NFL building, it's like base install. The first day you get there, your base runs, base passes. Then the next day is like third down, short yardage, goal line, and then Friday is like more red zone focused and situationally focused. So that's kind of how you break it up. I like to get there earlier just to like study and see what we're going to be installing that day, and then you go through the gauntlet of meetings, you know what I mean, where you meet as a unit or a position, walkthroughs, and then you have your practice, which can last from typically like an hour and a half, 2 hours to shorter once the year gets going on, and then you can meetings afterwards, and usually done by 6 o'clock or so. Do your own studying afterwards, we like to do that at home, so that's kind of the schedule usually in season.
Do they obviously in season, do they provide a lot of recovery for you guys? Is it like mandatory, like, hey, go hit the ice bath, go hit cryo, or is it just kind of like, it's up to you, if you don't do it, you're not going to like it?
Well, it's not, every guy's different, like all the resources are there for you to use, and some guys use things and other guys don't. Like I'm a big sauna guy. I love using the sauna with this strength staff that we have now. I love doing soft tissue work with them, and then there's great like active recovery stuff like underwater treadmills and stuff like that, just to flush all the lactic acid and stuff. So there's a ton of stuff that you can do. Not everybody uses the same stuff and everybody's different, so but those are kind of the things that I like to use. So.
Awesome.
How would you say the college playbook is different from an NFL playbook?
Chris is waiting to ask that.
It's worlds apart.
Yeah. A lot more complex, I'm sure.
Yeah, my understanding of football has increased exponentially from when I was a senior in college to now. Just in terms of understanding formation shifts, how you try to take advantage of what defenses present to you. You know what I mean? Like understanding what personnel they're in, what front they're in, what coverage they're in, like what looks they give. Like that's what I kind of like playing center and playing guard. More so playing center is just the intellectual challenge of that, because obviously you're kind of going up against the defensive coordinator and how he uses his kind of like his players as his chess pieces, you know what I mean? You're trying to figure out what are they doing, what are they actually doing, like how can you take advantage of what they're presenting to you. So my understanding of football has increased so much from the time I was a senior, and the playbook is definitely much rich, much deeper. So.
And how was it your rookie season? Did you have to do anything crazy at being a rookie on NFL teams?
Or are you allowed to say anything?
Well, nothing crazy, like I will say like the hazing stuff is nothing crazy. Like you just do stupid things like getting guys
carrying pads and stuff like that. Bags.
Yeah, carrying pads or like buying dip for guys, stuff like that. I don't dip, but you know, buying for guys at gas stations. Those are like the smallest of nuisances.
Did you ever have to do like a rookie dinner where you have to pay?
Or like a sing and dance kind of thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was kind of a weird year to come in.
Right.
Because with my rookie year was like the strictest COVID protocols of all time.
Stuff was limited, right?
Yeah, like it was, you know, we got tested literally every single day, like COVID tested, and we wear these little Connexon trackers to analyze your proximity to other people. You know what I mean? So if somebody were to get positive, they can contact trace you. And like we were spread out, like we had our team meetings in like our huge indoor, and they put out tables, and we listened with like headsets because it was you couldn't like sit close to anybody. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I did we had like a little singing thing where everybody would have to like sing songs.
What songs did you have to sing?
I just sang Frank Sinatra,
Nice.
My Kind of Town,
Chris,
Chicago.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Want to give us a little?
No, those are paid promotions.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I just had one final question. Is I know you're studied econ at Yale, a little bit of finance too. So is there anything that you want to do after your playing career? Like what kind of goals do you have? What's the next step after you're all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I think it depends a lot on when I'm done playing. I want to play as long as possible.
Yeah, of course.
Like I've just finished my third year. I was fortunate enough to play in a few games this past season, but I want to be able to start for somebody, and hopefully earn a good contract where I can build something on my own after I'm done. So I don't necessarily know what that is, but I would like to start my own business, my own venture, whether that's in finance or real estate, whatever it is. I don't really want to work for another company or organization. I'd love to build something of value sometime. So I don't know necessarily what that is.
Well, you definitely do it, man. You got a lot of good grades. So.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you.
We love your presence in the gym, and we're rooting for you. So.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Shit.
Sweet. Appreciate you guys.